People typically come to see you to resolve software issues from customers. These issues are usually time sensitive, but it's just as important not to create new problems when the current issue is fixed. It's typical for people to come to you and apply significant pressure so that the fix is published to customers as quickly as possible. What also seems to be an everyday thing is that after people describe the issue, people usually close with one of these statements or a statement that resembles one of these. Can we patch it up just for now? Do whatever it takes to get it done by the deadline. Let's just make it work for the launch. We'll sort out the details later. Isn't there a quick way to do this? As long as it looks fine on the surface, it's good enough. So you publish a quick fix. The customers are happy, and you move on to the next issue. But the next issue is also a quick fix, which you apply. And again, you publish this new fix. And of course, the next issue that comes in also has to be applied as a quick fix. And you can start to see the potentially never-ending cycle here. You constantly use quick fixes, but need more time to apply a long-term fix for anything properly. Your code base is slowly turning into something that couldn't have been dreamed up even by Wes Craven himself. Why is this important? How does this become a problem? When we write code to produce quality software, we're trying to achieve the following goals. Reliability. The software has to perform its functions reliably and accurately without errors that block users from using those functions. This software should be reliable and recover from most situations. Maintainability. The code base has to be maintainable. You have to be able to add features and fix problems without too many complications. This means the code must be clean, documented, and have a modular architecture, not spaghetti code. You should not need a paleontologist or Lara Croft to understand the code. Usability. The application must be usable. The interface should be user-friendly and consider how the user will use it. It may also allow the software to be usable by people with disabilities. Users should be able to see the interface and naturally find most functions intuitively. Efficiency. The application should use minimal resources. It should also be efficient and responsive when used. The application should be designed so that it always seems responsive and provides feedback to the user during heavy operations. Security. It should be secure, not have any vulnerabilities, and ensure data security and integrity. It should be using encryption where it makes sense to protect sensitive data. It should identify users through authentication if that makes sense. It should also have regular security updates to fix any security vulnerabilities that may be discovered. Scalability. The software should remain efficient whenever there's higher demand. This may mean more users, more data, or more transactions. You may solve these issues with more powerful or distributed hardware, but you should keep the software architecture and code base the same to accommodate an increase in any of those. Any fix that breaks any of these will incur technical debt. Each quick fix that incurs technical debt, no matter how insignificant this debt is, will eventually accumulate, and the outcome is always absolutely the same. Ultimately, what would be reasonable and straightforward improvements or fixes will gradually take more and more time until even the simplest of changes may take days, weeks, or even months. Everybody means well. They want to satisfy the customer. They want to help the business win. And they want to improve the product. The get it done now and improve it later model, much like using a credit card to purchase an expensive item, essentially means you will incur debt. Think of financial debt here. The more you spend, the more debt you'll accumulate. And just like interest in financial debt, your debt will grow out of control, presenting more issues. It doesn't matter what your business does. It doesn't matter how pressing the flaws are to the customers. If you constantly apply quick fixes, at some point, you will be in so much debt that you will spend most of your time trying to pay off the debt, and you will not be able to develop any new features. If your credit cards are all maxed out, you'll spend a lot of your hard-earned money to pay them off, only to reload them the next month, and the cycle will continue. It'll continue forever until it's broken. In the software world, paying off the debts capital means applying commercially reasonable efforts toward our core goals: reliability, maintainability, usability, efficiency, security, and scalability. It would be best if you never existed in the delusion that you will achieve 100% of these goals anytime. In my opinion, the only software that ultimately achieves these goals is a Hello World example. Remember that they are essential, and any code that goes against these is dead. All software will start with a good quality of debt, and that's normal. The point is not to let it get out of control. Your ultimate goal is to provide value to customers. Don't lose sight of this most important goal. As developers, it's easy for us to think that a complete absence of customers and users makes our work more straightforward. But it does sooner or later make simple things like buying food and paying our bills problematic. So we need customers and users. So how many quick fix do you use? How should you manage this? Well, it depends on you and the team. It's okay to push out a quick fix. You must provide timely value to the customer, and their software needs to operate correctly as much as possible. It may not always fulfill their expectations at 100%, but the core functionality must be pretty solid if it means workarounds. Whenever you push a quick fix, you can't lose sight of the fact that you've essentially written potentially harmful code, which will come back to haunt you. So the best practice after a quick fix, once the customer is happy and they can use their software, is to go back and transform this patch into a complete fix that is appropriately done to align with the goals as much as possible. Customers cost a lot of money to gain, so losing them is never a good option. However, creating a horror of a code base is also not an option, as this could ultimately lead to losing customers. Therefore, fixing issues and enhancing your software to align with the long-term goals is essential. If you have to make a quick change that goes against the goals, then it's vital that you seriously consider returning and improving it as quickly as possible. I've been known to support the delay of new features to resolve debt-based issues so they don't get out of control. So we've discussed how to implement quick fixes and resolve them. What we haven't discussed is how do we avoid them altogether. Well, amazingly, not everything is an emergency. As the expert, it's up to you to push back as much as possible and avoid creating a solution that needs to be implemented twice. How you handle this is to question and offer any viable alternatives or workaround. This may give you the extra time to publish a proper fix in one pass, reducing an opportunity for long-term issues and saving time, which can then be used to create more value to the customer.